or not, but in case we are, how we doing today? My name, of course, is Bobby Gaines of Bobby Productions, and this is Net Gains Episode 4, the very chill, relaxed live stream that I do every month, starting back in April. Wait, April, May, June. I actually have to count that out. This will be Episode 4. Of course, very fittingly on the 4th of July, which is kind of low-key, a nice holiday I like to celebrate. I usually have some friends over for a cookout. This year I might actually go to a cookout. Still not entirely clear on what's happening there, but enough of that semantics. I'm sure you guys don't really care what I'm doing for the 4th of July, but I care about you guys and gals out there watching this video, maybe from wherever you are, however you are. And like I said, this is Net Gains Episode 4. Not really much to this other than the fact that I'm taking my rants that I usually did every month and making them, well, live. So, welcome to the show, anybody who's willing to put up with me for who knows how long. Could be an hour, could be less than that. Funny thing is, the first couple episodes of this show were like 2 hours long, which even I thought was a bit long. And then the last episode was only 40 minutes because it was just Bex and I staring at a screen going, what the hell are we going to talk about now? Oh, we already got somebody. Hey, what's up, Brian? Thank you for tuning into the show within the first minute and a half. There should be a prize for that. There isn't, but there should be. Where's John? Oh, that seems to be the question of the day. Where is John and what is he doing? One day we're going to get him to tune into one of these, and then he can field all these questions, because I honestly don't know. I might actually be seeing him today, so maybe I do know. But as it is, you're just stuck with me. What we want to know, Ryan, is how is your 4th of July going? Do you have any plans today for the weekend? Any fireworks, any of that stuff? I know that hasn't been quite as prevalent with everything going on, but, you know, a lot of stuff I want to get to in today's episode, and actually it's very fitting that Ryan has already tuned in, because one of those things is going to be the mall tour, which, of course, came back very strong last month. Went on 3 mall tours in June. That's right, I said 3. I've only put 2 of them up now, and in fact, spoiler alert, literally minutes ago, maybe like an hour ago, I put up the 3rd mall tour of 2020, which was the Sono Collection, which is a brand new mall in Connecticut that I visited last month. It opened late last year. Sono Collection, a really cool idea. Unfortunately, didn't get to see a lot of it during my time there because of the shutdown and everything, but there was still a lot on display. So when I went to the Sono Collection, which was the same day I went to Connecticut Post Mall, so June 14th with John Lee, we got to see obviously we got to see the whole mall, but we didn't get to see a lot of the stores. A lot of things were closing or closed. And the other important part about the Sono Collection is it's called that for a reason, which is that there's a lot of artwork, and sometimes there's artists live there displaying their artwork, and we didn't get to see that either just because, again, yeah. But Sono Collection was really nice mall. The mall tour video is up now. Like I mentioned, I just uploaded it like maybe an hour or 2 ago onto my channel, so that's right now my featured video, or one of them. And I'm really excited about the mall tour. I'm really excited to talk about the mall tour, returning, basically going forward. All the rules are out the window, and this is something I might talk about in a separate rant, but I may as well address it now. Mall Tour 2020, of course, was billed as the final season, and that's still the case, although I might get away from using the word season, because obviously this is going to go further than 2020. I mentioned this in my last rant, and I'll mention it now even more confidently now that I've seen what malls look like, because I honestly didn't know what I was going to see when I went to Connecticut Post Mall, even when I went to the Crystal Mall, and I filmed a short video with my friends Frankie and Corey called Quarantine Chaos. I had kind of a half-joking name, but I really didn't know what I was going to see. I thought maybe stores were going to be like, you know, have like bubble wrap over them or something. Like, I'm being serious. Like, I really didn't know if I was going to be able to go to malls in the traditional sense and actually like enjoy it the same way I always have. I thought maybe, you know, I'd only be able to walk on one floor. They'd have certain things just roped off entirely, and that was the case for a little while. But going to actually, and again, I'm getting into spoiler territory here, but there was another mall tour, like I mentioned. I went to 3 malls in June, and the 3rd one I went to, I guess I won't say the name of it just to avoid some spoilers, but at that mall, I was able to go to the food court, and I was able to sit and just have a meal, and it was great. It was honestly like probably the highlight of my month and maybe the highlight of my year, just to be able to sit down and have a meal at a food court with my friend and just sit in a chair like a normal person and eat food. That was kind of awesome. And if more of the mall tours are like that, then I have no problem resuming, because that was basically, and I'm talking about the last mall tour I went on, so that one's not on YouTube yet. Probably will be on YouTube within a week or two, but that's, whatever. If you're watching this video, you get some exclusive insider info. I used to be so secretive about this stuff. Now I just kind of give it away. But no, my point being, if more mall tours are like the last one I went on, then I have no problem going to more malls. My big concern was, am I going to go to malls that are at like 20% capacity, and basically it's not worth the trip? And thankfully, that hasn't been the case. And just by the way, I'm asking this after the fact. I hope my audio is coming in okay, because it shows that my audio is okay, but I obviously have no way to check. So hopefully people can actually hear what I'm saying. But like I was saying, the mall tours in June were actually really good. Like, I was, a little worried that, I would have gone with it. Say I went into Connecticut Post Mall and everything was roped off, like I said, and some stores were closed, but say, they were all closed. I would have made like a big joke about it or whatever, but I'm glad that it didn't come to that. I'm glad that I was able to actually enjoy it in a more traditional way. And in a way, wearing the face masks and kind of making reference to these things, it's part of what makes this year unique, obviously. When you think about 2020, years from now, you're going to think about, unfortunately, the coronavirus. And, the mall tour has now incorporated that to a degree. So, whereas some mall tours, there's different circumstances going on, different things, different people. This year it's kind of, for better or worse, the quarantine, the slow lifting of the quarantine, and we go from there, because, I don't know, I didn't even realize how much I was going to enjoy it until I actually got to enjoy it. As you guys know, I'm not the most patient person, but I did take the quarantine seriously. I was basically, home, doing my thing for a month and a half, 2 months, no work, very little going out. And, it was what it was. It was tough at times. I lost my viewer. That's all right. I'm actually surprised I had a viewer. It's nice to see you, Ryan. Thanks for stopping in. But no, it was nice to kind of have some of that time to myself. It was actually a weird pause button that, in a way, I wish life had more often, because for that month, most of it, some of it was a little rough, but a lot of that quarantine time, actually, I felt like a kid again. Like, I was playing my Dreamcast, I was playing all these different games, I was just kind of diving into stuff that even I kind of forgot about. So it was a nice time to kind of get to know myself again, because, I don't know, generally I was always rushing. Even now, I went back to work in June, and pretty much as soon as June hit, it was like that. I didn't realize how fast it was going to go. Like, I thought there'd be kind of like a slow phasing in, just kind of like how everything else is phasing in. I thought there'd be kind of a slow phase-in period of, okay, I'm going to go back to work, but it's just going to be a little bit. No, I went back to work pretty much full-time. Of course, I don't really work 40 hours, but my point being, really not much changed. If anything, I'm working more now than I was before the pandemic started. And same with other plans. I'm kind of right back to where I would be. Obviously, I'm a little more limited than I would be other years, but this hasn't hindered my summer that much to this point, is what I'm trying to say. And to go on 3 mall tours in June, in any month, that would be kind of incredible. I usually don't get to do 3 in a month. It's happened a couple times, but let alone 2 in a day, which is what John and I did back on June 14th, like I was saying. So to be able to do that was really refreshing, really awesome, and I'm already looking into other summer plans, which again are kind of limited, but the year, to me, has been such a weird one, obviously, for everybody. The first couple months showed so much promise. I keep forgetting that I actually saw one of my favorite bands, Fastball, back in February, back before all this started, at Mohegan Sun, which, of course, is one of the biggest casinos in the world and just down the road from me, and they reopened recently. And, again, getting back to, who knew back in February that, all this stuff would happen, and, basically for 2 straight months, we were all kind of, felt like a completely different experience, and now June was kind of like, not that it didn't happen, but it just feels like everything kind of just flipped the other way all of a sudden. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm rolling with it. I'm surprisingly rejuvenated by it. And to me, this actually makes the mall tour a lot more interesting, getting back to that topic. And, the whole moniker, Shall We Tour, like, I'm like, really, I don't know why I feel really strongly about that. Like, it's such a simple slogan. It's just Shall We Tour. It's 3 words. But to me, it just kind of evokes that exploratory spirit of the mall tour, which is just kind of like, shall we tour? Shall we go for it? Like, why not? And that's kind of what I've really enjoyed about this mall tour season, kind of having its little comeback, was just that we're doing it. Like, we're not being stopped by it. We're being responsible. We're wearing face masks. We're staying away from people, but we're still doing, we're still mall touring. And, I mean, I've made a few changes, and I guess even though nobody's watching this, I'll kind of get to this. Mall Tour 2020, as you guys know, it started in March. It started with a really big mall, Garden State Plaza in New Jersey, and that was done very purposely. I wanted to hit, and I still do want to hit, some of the biggest malls, not just in this region, but in the country. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for the mall tour as far as that's concerned, and that mission statement hasn't really gone away. It's just been kind of delayed because of everything. So I'm kind of changing my direction, but I think it's going to actually make the mall tour stronger as a whole. Because whereas before I was like, okay, I'm not really concerned with the little malls anymore. I'm going to start going for the big ones. Now I kind of am back to going to the little ones. And not little, but smaller. Like your Connecticut Post, Warwick Mall, Sono Collection, which I was going to probably go to anyway because I hadn't been there before. And as much as I want to get new malls on the tour, and I will get new malls on the tour, I want to, this might be a nice time too, and it is going to be a nice time to revisit some malls, some that I didn't even think I'd be revisiting. Because the mall tour has been around a while. That's one thing that I realized as I was doing this and as I was kind of going through old videos of mine and making these new ones is mall tour's been around a while. So, there's some malls, I went to 3, 4, even 5 years ago that, maybe I'll see them again, even if it's just briefly. Like, this kind of opens the door to more mall tours, not less. So, whereas before I was kind of like, I don't want to say like under pressure or kind of like under a deadline, but I wanted to kind of like cram like 10 big malls into the final season and, just have it go maybe into January at the latest. And now this whole thing has just kind of turned it into, like I said, maybe not a mall tour season, but just like a mall tour experience, like I'm no longer limited by the calendar just because of everything that's happened, I mean, I don't think this is going to happen, but it could go until 2022. Who really knows? So, the mall tour, as far as I'm concerned, is going to go until I'm done with it. And that was always going to be the case, but even more so now that I basically don't have a deadline. I don't have to worry about, okay, I'm going to do these malls in the summer, these malls in the fall, and then end with something in December. No. When December comes and goes this year, and that's feels like far away, but then again, we're already in July. But, when 2020 turns the page, Mall Tour 2021, if you will begin. I'm actually just going to keep the logo and just change the 2020 to a 2021 for accuracy's sake. But other than that, this whole Shall We Tour final season vibe I'm going for is going to stick around because it's still the final season. And I am mindful of that, especially as I go to some of these malls for, what will essentially be the last time. I'm mindful of that. I'm not like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, there's some really great malls that I want to see again, and some I want to see for the first time. And when I do that, and how I do that, still TBA in some cases, but, John Lee, if anything, showed me last month that it can be done. And it was done. And it was done very well. I'm actually very excited. All the mall tour videos I made so far, including the 4th one that I have yet to put out, I think they're some of my best work yet. Like, I really do. I think, going to New Jersey to see Trevor was a great experience for many reasons, and the video was great to go along with it. Yeah, I guess Ryan just took off when he realized John wasn't here. But yeah, right now I'm talking to myself. That's nothing new. But no, the mall tour has been incredibly high quality. I put a lot of pressure on myself, as you guys know, whether it's the mall tour, whether it's Christmas, whether it's whatever. I don't really take a day off in the sense that if it's a video, I want to make it the best video I can. If it's whatever it is, I want to just make it the highest quality. Again, I don't really have anybody to confirm if my audio is working, but I'll assume it is. I don't know. I assume somebody would say something if they couldn't hear me. Then again, there's no one here to say anything. So, anyway, because now I'm a little bit worried that maybe the stream isn't running right. That's the only logical explanation, right? It can't be just that I'm not, I'm not drawing in the viewers. It's got to be that the audio isn't working. So we're going to go ahead and work on getting this fixed, because clearly that's the main goal of this thing. Oh, there I am. I'm watching myself. Huh, there's actually a pretty big lag on that. Alright, I'm going to watch myself. Screw it. I don't even show up in my own view counter. Anyway. Well, at least I know the stream is running. There's just nobody watching it. But what did I expect? I apologize. I know this is not typical of me. Actually, this is very typical of me. Oh, there I am in my own view counter. So yeah, I was watching myself for a little bit there. Hope I liked myself. Now I start to understand why people ask questions when they do, because there's a good 20 or 30 second lag on this. So yeah, I really, for those of you who missed that entire thing, I did spend a good amount of time talking about the last couple mall tours I went on. And yeah, kind of that sombering feeling when you realize that really nobody's watching. So then you kind of go back to, what do you talk about? Well, I guess I'm just going to continue on my track, because I did have other things I wanted to talk about. I even have the guitar here, should anybody be in the mood. I joke, but this is just going to get sad. Like I mentioned, the first couple episodes of Net Gains went a lot better than I thought. The third episode, which just happened last month, pretty much went exactly how I thought it would, which was, it was just kind of one viewer, 30, 40 minutes, and that was it. And this episode might end up being kind of the same thing, because as much as I like to talk, there's only so long I can go when there's nobody else kind of going along with it. And, speaking of live streams, I guess I'm going to move this along in a different direction. My Twitch channel, Chaos Blur, twitch.tv/Chaos Blur. I do a lot of great streams. Yes, I do lean retro. I have a lot of retro games, including Retro Request Party, which has been my favorite event that I do every so often. And no, I really want Chaos Blur to be I want it to be a bigger part of my productions. So I'm going to work on that in the next month or so, kind of getting that up to snuff, because right now I kind of just experimented with the idea of live streaming late last year into this year. And I didn't realize how much I was going to like it, and I didn't realize how much I was going to do it. I mean, I've been doing a lot of streaming. That's no secret. And, I think it's time to kind of take it more seriously on my end, so that I can get more viewers and get more things, more content, diverse content on the Chaos Blur channel. And a lot of that comes over to my productions. As you know, I usually import my streams to YouTube as well, just to kind of show you guys what I'm doing. So yeah, the last stream I had, or one of the last streams I had, was Retro Request Party episode 17. And for those of you who don't know, and again I'm talking to nobody right now, for those of you who don't know, Retro Request Party is kind of what it sounds like. Bunch of retro games, usually from the Super Nintendo, Genesis era, but I do mix it up once in a while. Game Boy Advance, pretty much anything that can play on my Retron 5, which is a very cool little console if you're into retro gaming, and I would highly recommend it. Even before Retro Request Party, I really loved it. In fact, that's kind of why I started Retro Request Parties, because I'm like, hey, I spent all this money on a Retron 5, and I love it, but I'm not really using it as much as I could be, so why not incorporate it into my Twitch channel? And that's exactly what I've done. So usually how it goes is, I have all these games, and I'd be like, okay, pick from these 5 games, and people, put in their requests, and I play, Super Mario World, for example, or Sonic the Hedgehog 2, or whatever. So it's a fun little thing. I try to do it once every couple weeks, maybe more, maybe less, depends on what's going on. But it's really fun. Recently we had our 17th episode, and it was different because it was the Super Nintendo Mini Edition. And the Super Nintendo Mini, of course, being Nintendo's classic console that they released, I think, a couple years ago or a year ago. I have one, obviously, and I, played a bunch of games off it, and it was a great time. It was like a 4-hour stream. I had viewers in and out of the chat. I had a lot of activity, and that's when streaming's at its best. That's why it's kind of discouraging right now that nothing's really happening, but that's when streaming is at its best, is when you have that kind of activity, people commenting, people asking for things, and that's when it is kind of a synergy between, you, the streamer, and the viewers, and that's what I really like to see. That's why I do it. But, that was a great episode. Like I said, 4 hours, ton of games we played in that time, and, just a ton of laughs and a ton of moments that, really made it fun for everybody watching, and I'm really glad to have been a part of it. But, that's not the end. It's just the beginning. There's going to be more streams of other games, retro and modern. And, yeah, in general, I really like the idea of the Net Gains, what I'm doing right now, this talk show kind of format. But, if it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. I've been kind of completely open to that idea that maybe, that I don't keep doing this. Not that it's particularly hard to do, but, I still do invest some time and effort into it. So, if I'm not getting the viewers, and I kind of take this philosophy on everything. You know, that's one reason the Maltor has stuck around as long as it has, is because for all of its, you know, quirks, Maltors get more views than anything I do, and it's not even close. My top 20 videos viewed on my channel, and I've got like 1,000-something videos, my top 20 are all Maltor videos. There's not a single video out of anything else I produce that even cracks that. They're all Maltor videos, and you know what? That's great, like, because I love making them, so that's a win-win. And I say that as this is the last season of Maltor, but, you know, I have a lot of content. You guys know that. There really are no rules to my channel. That's the only rule, is that there are no rules. So, kind of shifting gears again, and it's a lot easier to do this when I don't have anybody really talking. Another little initiative of mine kind of going forward, which is kind of more under the radar because it's not really as, you know, urgent, or, you know, this is something just ongoing. So you guys may know, I've been making these VHS tapes, or I was, back when VHS tapes were a thing. I've got about 39 of these, so you're like, why do you have so many VHS tapes? Or, actually, these are VHS-Cs. These are the really old, used to pop into like an old video camera. Oh, kind of like this. Let's try and grab this real quick. Yeah, kind of, this isn't my first camera, by the way, but my first camera did look very similar to this. This is what I'm using to kind of back them up. So, Bobby Classics, as you guys know, has always been a thing for me, because it's important to me to preserve those videos from the first 10 or so years of my video career, which, believe it or not, dates back to 1998. So that's when I got my first camcorder, and I was, you know, recording on these little tapes here, held about 90 minutes. But believe it or not, there's still a lot of footage I haven't imported to YouTube. So that's kind of something I started during the quarantine while I had a lot of free time, was backing these tapes up. So recently I've been posting some classics from 2004, because it's really weird. I only think of classics as like 90s, but I'm like, you know what? The early to mid 2000s is like 10, 15 years ago now, so that kind of is classic. I've even been trying to get some footage from some other tapes of mine, just really old tapes. Unfortunately, some of them haven't held up as well, which I guess is not a surprise. VHS tapes are not exactly high integrity to begin with, and they've been sitting in this drawer in some cases for 20 years or more. So, hard as I try, you know, and that's why I'm doing this now, because I have the time and because I have the tapes, trying to back up as many of those as possible. So, you know, stay tuned to Bobby Productions, not just for the current stuff coming up, but also for those Bobby Classics, because there will be a lot of new ones that even I kind of had to dig through to find, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I recorded this, and it's kind of fun for me too. Like, I actually discovered them myself, even though I made them. You know, sometimes you forget what you did 15, 20 years ago. A little less, you know, I don't really have that problem as much starting in 2010, just because everything kind of went digital for me then, and everything kind of backed up like a million times. I got Bobby Productions 2010, Bobby Productions 2011, and so on, backed up onto hard drives and discs and stuff. So, but with the tapes, you know, they're kind of just out there, you know, like they're just kind of, the only way you can access some of these tapes for me is to pop them in a camera or VCR and actually just watch them, and then I'm like, holy crap, I had that saved. So now I'm kind of converting them to digital so that I can have them archived the same way I have my modern stuff archived. So, yeah, long story short, more Bobby Classics are to come, and, you know, I just unintentionally made another segue into my next point, mentioning Bobby Productions 2010, which is kind of when I made the switch over. In fact, my last VHS tape, believe it or not, was Christmas 2009. Was the 2009 end-year finale. I want to say it was like tape number 39. So I just missed getting to 40 tapes. And one of those tapes, believe it or not, actually, I probably should have had this prepared. This I think is actually pretty cool. And this is a real thing. Not that, although this is a great tape as well. I don't know if I actually have it in here. Well, no one's watching, so I'll just turn my back to the camera. I don't know if I have it in here, but I definitely have it. It is a thing. Here it is. This is really, I think this is really cool. In fact, I might back this tape up anyway, even though I have it backed up in other forms. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera. Not matter, no one's watching. But yeah, this is it right here. This is Crash Daniels. This is the actual entire movie of Crash Daniels. So, this is the entire movie on VHS. This is how it was recorded. So, chronologically speaking, this was filmed just before Christmas of 09. So, but no, this tape right here is the actual recorded, archived footage of Crash Daniels on VHS. That's how long I've been doing these. So somewhere on some of these tapes might even be the footage from Movie Hero 2 and all that, because that was all recorded on tape. You know, all of it. Like, I used to record, for the first couple of years of my filmmaking career, I recorded on a clunky VHS camera. And in fact, that camera, the one I did record on, the big silver one, does appear in every Blockbuster movie, all three of them. And that gets me nicely to my next point, which is 2010. After I made the switch to digital, I came out of retirement from movie making to make Blockbuster with my friend Frankie in Archaea. And obviously you guys know what that's about because Blockbuster is still on my channel to this day. But what is very exciting, and I mentioned it last month, but now I'm going to get a little more serious about it because honestly I meant to have this out already, but there's a lot more work to do than I thought. Blockbuster is going to be making a little comeback. I'm going to be re-releasing the original Blockbuster movie, full length, one clip. It's about an 80-minute movie, and it, like I mentioned, it has my friends Frankie and Archaea in it, also some other appearances by other people I won't spoil, but it was a really fun movie to make, and actually rewatching it, I'm having a really good time with that. Unfortunately, though, I didn't realize how many issues there were with this movie from an editing point of view. All kinds of audio glitches and just different things, weird cuts, and I'm trying to fix those as best I can while also keeping the original intact. So, when I re-release Blockbuster, it's going to be a little bit more than a re-release. I'm going to have, you know, I mean, it's still basically the same movie, but I'm going to kind of, I added a little bit more music to kind of smooth some scenes out. I tried to fix the audio in some spots where it was just super windy, you couldn't hear anything. Unfortunately, I can only do so much with that, but I'm looking forward to re-releasing the movie. Like I said, I wanted to have this done by mid-June or late June. It's still not quite done yet to the point where I'm comfortable announcing a release date, so I'm hoping it'll release in July. That's the best I can do right now, is to tell you that. But it is an exciting side project that I'm working on right now. Of course, I already finished Blockbuster 10 years ago, so there's really not much more to be done with it other than fix some of the audio lags and some of the other weird things that I didn't realize were in the movie this whole time. And all these things can be found on YouTube, so hooray. I've had all these issues all this time. But no, that's what's coming down the pipe for me in terms of that. Boy, Ryan just gave up once John didn't show up. That's disappointing. So yeah, no, like I mentioned, Blockbuster re-release coming, hopefully 2-3 weeks. We'll see, maybe less. It's weird. I really can't predict this stuff anymore, so I'm kind of tired of trying. You know, I thought for sure the mall tour would take a bigger delay, and that even if it came back, it wouldn't come back as strong. I was wrong on that, thankfully. And you know, I've got my gaming streams. I've got Bobby Classics, like I mentioned, making a comeback, another comeback, and no, I mean, I'm grateful for those things. I'd be grateful for a few more viewers now. I know that's always my long-running joke, but yeah. Let's see here. Ooh, no viewers still. So yeah, that's Net Gains episode 4. I don't know. I really don't have much more to say that I haven't said already. I was hoping to maybe take some questions or requests or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with this series going forward. Seems like I just announced it, and then my next video will be Bobby Gaines announces the cancellation of Net Gains. But I digress. It's been an interesting summer so far, as I mentioned. Actually slowly returning to DJing, which is my other job that I do more, well, I don't do it more often, but this time of year I would be doing it more often, but so far not so much, just a couple things here and there, and hopefully going to start DJing more in a couple weeks. I don't know, I keep saying that, but then I don't. So it's an uncertain time, obviously, for everybody. I guess I'll try to get to at least a half hour. I feel like I spent a half hour setting up the stream. I may as well get a half hour out of the actual content, but I digress. But yeah, we had ourselves a viewer for a good 5 minutes. Don't know where John is. I'm still focused on that question because that's the only question I got. So I hope you guys are having a good 4th of July. Got my guitar along with me, but ooh, you can tell that's out of tune. Sometimes I like to incorporate the guitar into the stream. Alright, I've incorporated the guitar into the stream. No. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about that, you know, I haven't touched on already. 4th of July is today. I was going to say usually like that's a big summer milestone is 4th of July. Well, that's today. So after today, that's not going to be relevant. What else? What else? Mall tour, like I mentioned, going pretty well. Blockbuster re-release still on the table. There's got to be something else I had. I mentioned Chaos Blur. I mentioned Blockbuster, Body Classics Revivals. God, I really cannot think right now. Well, I might just give things a few more minutes, because otherwise I'm not, not sitting here just to sit. Like, I want to do something. So, yeah. Been a decent day so far, but not much on the terms of viewers here. Maybe I'll just check my email or something. That's what we've gotten to now. Is just let me just check my email. See how things are going here for Bobby Gaines. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Bring it around town. Bring it around town. Yeah, I'm checking my chat. Don't get me wrong, I'm checking it. You guys know that you're important to me. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. Oh, don't you know, baby? Let's see here. One kind of cool thing I got on one of the mall tours was this waterproof frisbee. It's not just cool because of that, but also because it has a speaker built in, which I have yet to test any of this stuff. So, it could be fun. I'll bring this over Frankie's if I end up going over there. But yeah, the alternate language on this is French. There you go. Check my chat again. Hey, I actually got somebody. Wow, I was just joking around. I actually got a viewer from showing off the frisbee. Here's the frisbee. Maybe I'll bring it over to Frankie's. Hey. Now I don't have much to say. I'm actually surprised somebody tuned in just now. So, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny when I make myself speechless. Well, I'd like to welcome my viewer, if they are in fact a real viewer, because sometimes I don't trust these YouTube statistics. I think the whole thing's a bunch of hogwash, if you ask me. Anyway. So yeah, we've already addressed the question of where's John, which is literally the only question in this chat. Well, like I say, I always try to stay involved if there's at least one viewer. And there is at least one viewers. Alrighty. Well, might end up wrapping this up. Let me just check something real quick, because I have a feeling my viewer was just me. I think I tested the stream too early. Saying these technical terms. It has to buffer. Well, I do like my current channel icon. The 4th of July kind of mask. That's what I should have worn for this. No, I wouldn't wear a mask in the house like this. Can't believe the frisbee actually got a viewer in. It almost reminds me of the episode of King of Queens where they put a baby monitor in Arthur's room and they're just watching him do nothing all day, but then they still watch it. It's like, oh, put the sock in the dryer. Oh, he left a sock in there. Come on, man, get your stuff together. I always get really paranoid when I see a viewer not saying anything. I'm like, what are they thinking? And are they going to bring any friends so they can all watch together? But I digress. Well, maybe I can check my Facebook Live on the air. Actually see what else I have planned for today. Like I said, I'm still watching the chat. Just need somebody to chat. Hey. Oh, right. Should be checking my chat. Oh, still got a viewer. Yeah, I still got a little bit of time before I was going to that cookout that I may or may not be going to. Because if we put anything on YouTube, someone will watch it. If anyone's going to be the proof of that, it's going to be me. Hey, we're back. All right. Still another question about the same guy. And actually, that's what I'm discussing on Facebook right now, believe it or not. As I'm checking my Facebook, and now we got 2 viewers. Yeah, we don't know if he's going or not. Stay tuned for that action. Yeah, maybe I'll film some of the cookout. Who knows? Probably not, though. But like I had mentioned, maybe I'll bring this Frisbee over. That's a more likely possibility. In fact, I wonder if I have to charge this thing. I probably have to charge it. Let me just go ahead and open this Frisbee live on the air for just a second. Well, surprisingly less to this than I thought. Thought it'd be like a plug or something to charge it. Or, oh, hold on, there's something here. Oh, I wonder if it takes one of those watch batteries. Oh, no, there is a... Okay, that's kind of cool. I assume it comes with a cable. So those of you who don't know, this was one of the few things I bought at a mall recently. This is a waterproof flying disc. Actually, I think it's in the Connecticut Post Mall tour video, so I'm not really spoiling anything here. Bluetooth Frisbees. Yep, there's the cable. Sweet. Watch this disrupt the whole screen. Instructions. Setting up your wireless Frisbee. The SoundSpin Bluetooth flying disc allows you to listen to your favorite tunes while playing the game we have all grown to love. That's just great. That's actually kind of interesting. Maybe I will bring this. I don't know how long the charge is going to last. It's probably in the instructions somewhere. Yeah, feel free to keep asking questions. I'm just hooking up my Frisbee because I've lost control of my life. Maybe if John Lee's there, I can get another power pack for my Frisbee. I think it glows. Yeah, it does glow in the dark. I was going to say, this thing pretty much does everything. Oh, there we go. The light's on. It's working. I can't really see the light in the video because it's bright in here, but charging my Frisbee. I have nowhere to set this. This was not well thought out. This cable is incredibly short. Okay, I guess that'll work. I have a Frisbee hanging off my computer right now. Look at that, I'm going to make it to 40 minutes after all. I can tell you how long the batteries will last. How is John's summer going? As far as I know, he seems about as happy as usual, so about the same. In fact, I can probably answer you that right now by checking Facebook. Or not. Alright, yeah, John's summer seems to be pretty inconclusive, much like my own summer. But I know he just went back to work recently. The restrictions were lifted for him, and yeah, no, he's John. So there's really not much to say about him that hasn't been said already. It's funny how I lose my energy after 20 minutes straight of talking, because I actually went on a good little run there. Not that anybody was there for it, but I went on a good little run there talking about mall tours, blockbusted, frisbees. How's that frisbee doing? It's still charging. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm charging it. I'll give it a try today. What else? I'm talking about frisbees, blockbusted, mall tours. What else was I talking about? Probably classics. You know, I crammed a good amount of content into the first 25 minutes of this stream, and since then I've just been kind of sputtering. I was not expecting... Actually, I kind of was expecting viewers to show up toward the end, because that's almost always how it goes. Like, almost always. Like, as soon as the stream is, like, about to wrap up, I get, like, 3 viewers, and I'm like, oh, well, now what do I say? Hell. Let's see what we got here. Any more questions? Just realized that you wrote cock out instead of cookout. I actually forgot I was streaming for a second. I'm like, why is that counter going up? Apparently John bought me a firecracker. That's a little exciting. And no, I'm not making that up. I'm down to 1 viewers. The other one left at the offensive comment of cock out. Oh my god. I'll wrap this up shortly. Just don't really expect a whole lot more action on this chat. It is a nice day out, though. What is it, 77 degrees right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I don't think anyone's going to have a problem with that. So, thanks for watching.